We stand for freedom, liberty, and the Constitution. We will combat all those who are corrupt. We are America's insurance policy. We will not see our republic fall. We are everywhere. We are the 3%. While that motto energizes me to the fullest and truly is one of my favorites, it's way more than just your run-of-the-mill motto. That is a key motto among a band of brothers that I became a part of back in 2017 called the 3%ers. I guess from an unofficial standpoint, I became part of them back in 2008 when I took an oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I would bear true faith and allegiance to the same, and that I would obey the orders of the President of the United States. But hey, who's counting time? Especially at a time where there's more of it than we know what to do with in light of this latest pandemic, the coronavirus. If anything, even somewhat positive came from the government intervening with businesses and with the issuances of stay-at-home orders. It was that it gave me some time to move forward on preparing everything, to come forward with my story from 2017. When anyone is backed far enough into the corner, to a point of not having any perceivable breathing room, instilled human instinct is to fight back. That proverbial last straw that was hanging by a thread broke not so long ago when for the third time in 3 years, my almost 6-year-old daughter was used as a chess piece against me in a staged war of the courts by her mother, who in my opinion should have been committed to a mental asylum many years ago. But that's a different story for a different day. This is about justice, but not just for me. Because at the end of the day, no matter how cut and dry the evidence is that I was framed by a ridiculously corrupt local government, taken over by some of the most heartless, careless, and quite frankly dangerous people when banded together the way they did back in 2017. I say that with 100% full confidence, and while some may not side with me, we all know the extents the Democrat Party will go in order to ensure a win. So be it if morals and decency get completely tossed away. We've seen example after example of it over the last 5 years. So my story, when all laid out, should not come as a complete and total shock to most, although the particular details of everything are absolutely disgusting. And as such, these people should absolutely be brought to justice, and I would hope that after hearing the details, the FBI would conduct a non-biased, thorough investigation into the facts of everything in order to do just that. It was not long after President Trump took office and all the proof had surfaced in regards to the extreme corruption shown by the Democrats to obstruct and break any law and moral code they needed in order to accomplish their set-out agenda. There were many people that thought I was crazy for taking the counter stance that I took, standing up for conservative values, but ultimately for standing up for our constitutional rights and those rights which make us the constitutional republic that we are. I never had an issue standing up and speaking my mind on any issue. And while I may have disagreed myself with the views of others, I always believed they had a right to voice their opinions. There were many loudmouth liberals that called me every name under the sun, even threatened. My own family was confused as to why I so adamantly held firm on my beliefs and wasn't afraid to walk into a lion's den of those who had a different opinion, and a big chunk of them sharing similar opinions of others in the room, being that they didn't want me there and they wanted me silenced. That leads on to one of my favorite quotes by a man named Steve Jobs, founder of a company called Apple. While Steve and I probably came from two completely different sides of the political spectrum, I can find vast amounts of appreciation in his key quote, which reads as follows. Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square hole, the ones who see things differently. They're not quite fond of rules. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them, but the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward, and while some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius, because the ones who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. I would say that I've always been patriotic to the core, and that dedication and true patriotism peaked in me for the first time when I enlisted into the United States Marine Corps back in December of 2007. It would peak again at an even higher level, just shy of a decade later, when our Constitution and the very things I believed in and took an oath to defend came under siege. And all in about a month's time, my rights were laid siege to, and all of it ushered in by a well-formed group of co-conspirators and obstructionists, which are two fancy and lengthy names for the types of disgusting, low-life criminals these people truly are. See, I was framed on a crime I did not commit. I was framed on a crime I could not possibly have committed. I was presumed guilty until proven innocent. And due process under color of law, and that which all citizens are to be afforded under the United States Constitution, was never given to me. The only thing these animals had going in their favor was fear-mongering and coercion tactics, the left-wing media propaganda, and the assumed power given to them under their appointed authorities. The craziest part is that all but maybe one or two still hold their same appointed or elected positions to this day. But with most of America fed up with scandals such as this atrocity, the time is now for true justice to be rendered, and for me to clear my name in an attempt to get my life back, my rights back, and to truly walk from that city and county knowing that it wasn't for nothing, and that justice was served by a non-biased and fair judicial system that respects and preserves due process and isn't out for a tacky decimation of another's rights and life for political purposes and social gain.